Hi, I'm Donnie. Welcome to the Magic Onions blog. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a needle felted toadstool. I'm going to be making a big toadstool, but you can use the same technique to make smaller toadstools too. I will be using red and white wool and a needle felting needle. Okay, I begin by rolling the red wool into a long sausage. I find that this rolling technique really cuts down on the time that it takes to needle felt something. Once I've rolled it into a nice long sausage, then I'm going to roll it lengthways into a spiral. This is going to help me get the shape of the toadstool cap. With my needle felting needle, I'm going to catch the wool on the sides of the spiral so that my spiral doesn't unravel. Now I'm going to needle felt the rest of my toadstool cap so that it becomes round and firm. I've speeded up the video for you now because it takes about 5 minutes of needle felting to get the cap beautifully firm and smooth, and the technique is the same, so it's easy for you to see it in fast motion. To get the top of the cap round, I'm going to pull a little bit of wool over the spiral to hide the spiral. I prise the wool loose with my thumb and forefinger and I pull it over the spiral and then needle felt the wool into the top of the spiral so that it covers it and becomes lovely and round and smooth. I do this all the way around so that it smooths the whole top of the toadstool. At the same time, this needle felting is firming up the toadstool so that it keeps its shape. Notice how I'm keeping the toadstool flat against the felting board. This helps keep my fingers safe from the sharp needle. Continue needle felting all around your toadstool cap. Wherever you see a bump, smoothen it out by needle felting in that position, in that area. You'll see that the more you needle felt around, the smoother and beautiful your toadstool cap becomes. Now we're going to add the little white spots to our toadstool cap. I pull off a little piece of white wool and I roll it in my hands to form a nice tight ball, and then I put the little ball onto the toadstool and I needle felt it into the wool of the toadstool around the outside of the little white ball. I love toadstools that have got randomly shaped little white spots and big spots and little spots and minute spots. So the size of your spot is going to depend on the size of your ball. So if you want a bigger spot, use a bit more wool to make a bigger ball. If you want a tinier spot, use a tiny piece of wool, but the technique is the same. Roll it in your hands until it's a ball, put it on your toadstool cap, and then needle felt it into the toadstool. I start by adding my biggest spots first and then working down in size to my smallest spots. When my spots are all in place, I work on the underside of my toadstool and make it nice and flat. And then it's time for the toadstool stalk. I take some white wool and I roll it into a sausage. Again, this technique helps to cut down on the time it takes to felt. Then I roll the sausage into a spiral. You see, it's kind of like a long spiral I'm rolling it into, and as tight as I can get it. The tighter I get it, the less I'm going to need to needle felt it to make it keep its nice tight shape. Once the spiral is rolled into a nice stalk, I'm going to catch the wool on the sides by needle felting it into the wool, and I'm going to keep on needle felting it until it has become nice and firm and there aren't any flyaway ends of wool on it. I'm going to even out, make the bottom of the stalk flat. Now I'm going to connect it to the underside of the toadstool. I'm going to put it against the underside and I'm going to needle felt it into the wool of the red toadstool cap all around until it's totally needle felted into the cap. And there you have it, your beautiful little needle felted toadstools. If the top needs a little bit more work, you can even it out by just needle felting it wherever you see it's bumpy. And 2 beautiful toadstools for you to enjoy. If you want to make these toadstools but don't have the materials that you need, I have kits available in the Magic Onions shop. That's www.themagiconions.com/shop. My kits come with all the materials we need to complete the project, plus easy step-by-step instructions. I have kits for felted hearts, felted toadstools, felted pumpkins, felted owls, and so many other gorgeous things. You'll love them. So please join me on the Magic Onions blog, www.themagiconions.com.